Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Well, welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. We're here with the Jasmine Young, LJ Hunt, and Julian Rivera. Welcome.
Thank you.
The crowd goes wild.
I am very nervous to be here. I think I've said that a couple times.
Yeah, you said that we were actually
just having a conversation. It's
walking
no
and
different.
talking
No different.
for a good hour. You told me how shy you were about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this came about also because you got a coach, and it's part of your homework.
Yeah,
huh?
so I joined Andy Nelson's coaching program back when he opened it in February. And so this was part of my strategy because I really wanted to double down on the social media.
Okay.
And so we actually sat down and went through like having a schedule, making sure that I was being consistent with the social media. And this is the one thing that he knew I was uncomfortable doing. And he told me I needed to come up here. And so when Mike had posted a couple weeks back about who wanted to be on a podcast, he literally called me out to make sure that I was up here. So
Okay.
I signed up. I made sure to have a couple weeks of preparation, but I'm still very, very nervous.
Nice.
No, I met Jasmine when I think you had just signed on, right?
Just signed on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you came over and then I got I scored a little FISBO listing, you know, and they were like, "Go ahead, just list it this week before I change my mind." It was like that. It's like, okay, we've been working this for like 3 months.
Yeah.
All right, good to go. Luckily, Ryan's my neighbor, photographer. Shout out to Ryan, Woodridge Visuals. But he came over, took pictures, videos, and I was like, "You want to do an open house?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, perfect."
Just being in the office.
Yeah, and I had an open house that was supposed to be scheduled that weekend, and it got canceled. And then Edgar, he had posted about it. I was like, yes, let me just go ahead and do it because I just wanted to go ahead and get out there.
Nice.
Because that was another thing I wanted to double down on was the open houses. When I first got licensed, I did a lot of open houses. So I knew that they worked, and I'm glad you actually did that training today.
So that's why you're taking all those notes.
Yeah,
today.
he saw
I
me in
was
the back
like,
taking
man, she's like,
Well,
yeah.
you know what happened that day is because she had just switched over, so a lot of her templates and stuff from her marketing material was still with the other broker.
Got you.
I was like, "Don't sweat it," and she
Yeah.
did it. She was just like, "No, I'm here. I'm gonna knock this out." You know, hooked her up with the little flag.
I think you borrowed our flag. I think you swung in and were asking me for stuff for her. I think that's exactly what that was.
That's probably what.
Yeah.
So I had lent out my
remember.
flag again, and then it was missing.
They don't
a
come
piece.
back. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like,
100%.
Now the question is, did you return the flag?
Yes.
All right.
To him, but he didn't give it back to me.
"Shit, the thing was up the street."
But yeah, everything was still my old brokerage stuff. So it was like I had to go run up and get open house flag or the signs. I had to try and print off as much as I could. And then that's when I found out about KV Core having that open house feature because I never used KV Core before. So that helped out a lot. And now I actually have a kit. I have my own little tote
Nice.
box. And then just now be adding more stuff to it and then kind of implementing more of the strategies that you went over today.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, Jasmine, I know we jumped into all of this, but where are you from? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was born in Edenton, North Carolina. My dad was a Marine. He served over 20 years. We've lived in Hawaii. We lived in Cherry Point, North Carolina. And the last place we PCS to was Fredericksburg, Virginia. He was stationed up Northern Virginia. And back then, it was cheaper to buy a house in Fredericksburg and just commute back and forth. When I graduated high school, I came straight down here. Spent a little bit of time at Norfolk State University. Didn't really like it, I'll be honest. But I went and finished my associates at Tidewater Community College. Did some retail, did some fast food. I actually worked at Jimmy John's for several years, and I was a manager there.
Yeah, do you have stock in Jimmy John's? Because that's 2 days in a row.
It's just easy.
It's like 5,000 restaurants in this area, but Jimmy John's is your
easy.
go-to. All right.
I've had it repeat
Just wanted-
order. That's
just
all it
wanted to throw
was.
that out there. Repeat order.
But yeah, I when I left there, I decided to go work with a local home builder. Don't want to say their name or anything like that. But I was working with the builder, and I was an unlicensed assistant. So I sat at a couple of the model homes, one in Suffolk, one in Portsmouth, and then I would jump back and forth between like some of the Virginia Beach and other Suffolk ones. I had my daughter at that point too, and then I left there, briefly worked with a commercial broker realized very quickly I hate commercial real estate. But he was the person I was working with, he was the one that got me to get my license in 2017. I became an active agent in 2018.
Yeah.
Joined the brokerage, was also working with more of the new construction side, representing the builder there, and that's actually how I met Mike.
Mike Little?
Mike Little, yeah, because he had a deal out there. It never went through, but we kept in touch after that. Ended up getting my broker's license in 2021 while I was pregnant. And then by 2022, I was a managing broker at my old firm. They did the same thing where they had one realtor side, one non-realtor side.
Okay.
And I was the managing broker of the realtor side. Then I got fired.
How you get fired?
So their business was not doing as well as Iron Valley. And so
They couldn't afford you anymore.
Yeah, they could not
so
afford me.
they didn't fire
Yeah,
you.
so
they had to scale
officially
back.
they laid me off.
Right.
There you go. That's better
Yeah.
terminology.
And then they,
Fired? Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Damn. We hired
Well,
you?
yeah, well, man, that wasn't on the resume. What?
so they actually ended up getting rid of the whole realtor side.
Okay.
of it, and they went back to just the non-realtor.
Oh, okay.
However, they originally were going to make me the managing broker of the non-realtor side again. And then they decided we just don't need you at this point because there was another managing broker too. So they wanted me to stay on as still helping with the admin stuff, kind of doing stuff that Lori does. And they eventually were like, hey, you can also just sell, just go back out and be on the field and everything like that. By this point, I was already over it. And that's when I started the conversations to come over on this side.
Now you're here.
Yes.
And
now
you're
I'm here.
happy.
I'm very happy.
Look at that smile.
That's good.
Can you zoom in on that smile right there, please?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, it's been a different change. It's been a very good change, and I definitely needed to.
So how long ago did you make that switch?
So I think I signed on officially the last Friday of December
Okay.
before New Year's.
Okay.
But I had started
Beginning
the
of the year-ish,
conversations.
yeah.
Probably like October, November.
Okay.
But I'll say that I had already checked out of my old brokerage even before all that stuff happened, probably early 2023.
Oh, geez.
So there was some changes that had happened during that summer of 2023 that I had already told my husband, I'm going to make a switch.
Okay.
And I was trying to hold off until the beginning of the year. Life happened. So I was like, let me just go ahead and make the change.
Just jump.
Did you call Mike or did he get in
So
hit you up?
So I went into the website, just the Iron Valley website,
Oh,
and I
okay.
filled out the form. And it was actually Eric who messaged me first.
Yeah.
And so I had a good conversation with Eric, and then waited a couple weeks, and then I reached out to Mike, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's talk or whatever.
And now it's all history.
Yeah, it's all history now.
So can I just ask you a question? And this is like a statement that I like to say. What was the main rock in your shoe to make you make that decision?
I realized that my business goals were very different from my old brokerage. And so I think our visions were just not aligned anymore after a certain point. And I was making a salary. And that's really the only reason why I stayed so long. My pipeline dried up. I wasn't making any more deals at that point because I was so focused on being the broker.
Right.
And I really liked being on the field. So, and I was not allowed to do both. My contract actually stated that I could only do 4 deals a year max.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I had to be very careful about what type of business I took. And that ruined actually my whole pipeline for a while.
Right.
So,
And my visions just aligned. Were different.
Edgar, how many deals have you closed this year? Ish. Just because you're the principal broker of Prestige, and then you're also like the managing broker of the Chesapeake side, kind of. Just because you're in the same building, so it's just
Like
you've done
12,
12 in the first 5 months already, and you're running 2
and I
brokers.
didn't
Why 4?
start until honestly, I didn't start until February.
Yeah, so
Like that's when I
that's
started
because you had to
calling
open
and-
Prestige. Like that whole month was a.
I'm glad
was
you
a-
remember
Yeah,
that.
You were a little
It was-
busy, I'm
the
sure.
whole month was.
It was
just-
taxes and opening up a company
Yeah.
and shit like that, and it's like you can't service clients, and at the same time also, I was kind of once Prestige opened, it was like all people who were on my team, it's like, hey, you got to go solo now. So I was helping them kind of establish their teams or solo agents or whatever. a lot of that happened between January, February. But yeah, no, business just started for me.
That's wild.
But from the brokerage side, I could kind of see it because from the ownership side, we've also seen that happen where you cannot have somebody either be a trainer, admin, and be a realtor or
Yeah.
real estate agent.
Yeah,
It takes away.
it does.
from it. But to limit it to just 4, I mean, I think that's
They didn't want us.
that's extreme.
That
They
is a
didn't
little
want us
extreme.
competing with the agents, and I get it to an extent. But they could have also used some of my sales had I actually been actively working at the time.
Right.
Maybe that would have helped some of their situations.
But it's water under the bridge now, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're here,
Yeah.
you're thriving, you're happy.
Yeah.
Your year's going good, I'm guessing.
I have a pipeline, so I'm happy about that. No closings, but I have several buyers, several upcoming listings. It's just waiting for someone to make that jump.
Right.
Yeah.
It's snowballs.
Yeah.
It comes.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect. Once go, it's
Yeah, the whole 60 to 90 day time frame of real estate.
There you go.
I'm really starting to see that.
yeah.
So everything I'm working on now, it'll come into effect probably second half of the year.
Do you have a vacation plan?
No.
Okay, so you know what they say in real estate: when stuff gets stagnant, go on vacation because that's when the calls
Yeah.
start coming in. It's the truth.
It is.
I mean, it does happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I went up to Philadelphia a couple weeks back, all of a sudden people are blowing up
Boom.
my phone. I'm like, y'all couldn't just bother me when I was actually here and could actually help you at the time.
No, that's not how it works. I literally have an agent that's going to come over soon, Stephanie. She goes on vacation like once every 2-3 weeks. I'm not joking, okay? And she is busy as hell all the time. I can't, but she was doing that prior to getting into real estate, so it was already part of her life. That's just what she does. But she made it work. She understands what to do. Now, mind you're on vacation doesn't mean you're just chilling with your feet up the whole time.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have plans and stuff too, but it's always the most inconvenient times when business just pops up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but while you're on vacation, that's also nice to be in the pool and be like, oh.
exactly. And I'm like, literally, you can. That's like one of the main perks of this job. You can almost be anywhere in the world, especially when you have teammates and people that you can know, like, and trust to call.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not here, but can you do this X, Y, Z, and blah blah blah. So you know this. You've done this before.
Right.
But the moral of the story is, do you have any kids that are in school?
My daughter's homeschooled.
Okay, even better. So take a vacation next week. That's what I'm saying. Okay, just go somewhere, an hour away. I want to inconvenience your
I was
life
gonna
to
say
get you business.
She'll want to go to her grandmother's house up in Fredericksburg. So.
Easy day. Boom.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
married, is hubby over there homeschooling?
So he helps out with some of the subjects, more like the science, social studies,
Okay.
some math. I typically handle like all the reading and writing and stuff like that. We just started like traditional homeschooling.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've talked to Carrie O'Bing. She does homeschooling
Yes,
also.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Super Steve. Super Steve.
Super Steve, yeah. Which is cool. I mean, was it during COVID, I guess you decided to do that?
Yeah,
or-
so my daughter started kindergarten fall of 2020, and we had always kind of wanted to homeschool. So when she started kindergarten, everyone was virtual at that time.
Yep.
So we put her in an actual virtual school because we were like, at least then they're experts on how to handle the virtual situation. She was with the virtual school up until December. A lot of changes happened in December for us. And part of the reason why we took her out was we found out, I think it was like middle of second grade, that she had learning disabilities. And if you've ever dealt with like the public schools, they're recognizing the disabilities, but they don't know how to handle and teach with the disabilities. And she actually has all the Ds, the dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia. So a lot of her math and her reading and writing skills were not up to grade level. And she's in third grade now, and third grade is SOL year. So there was so much focus on her just being on, with the SOLs and passing those, that they weren't focused on the skills that she actually needed help with. So we made the decision to homeschool her, so that way we can truly just focus, a day on just math, a day on just reading, a day on just writing, and also in a way that she's more willing to learn. She is not a morning person. We don't even start homeschooling until at least 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's more of the focused work, not including like going to the park. Okay, let's talk about the animals and the plants and stuff like that, or go to the aquarium, even go into Target. We can make a lesson out of that. There's just a lot less structure that we have to worry about with homeschool, but it works for her, and we have seen the improvements. She's now reading at grade level, which a year ago she was still technically reading at a kindergarten first grade level. So we like the homeschool route. She seems to like it because she can sit around and wake up when she wants to. She can have snacks when she wants to. She doesn't like when we have to say, hey, sit down and do this worksheet or whatever.
School time.
Yeah, but she does appreciate the flexibility, and she has no intention of going in person.
You know, obviously the name of the podcast, but what does your peak life look like?
So I thought about it a lot, and I think my peak life is the life where I don't have to rely on an employer ever again, where I can be an independent contractor, do what I want, go on vacations whenever I want. I don't want to put myself in that W-2 situation, having someone tell me, oh, you can only do this. I don't want to live that life anymore. So for me, it's just having that control over my life and being more independent about that as well.
Okay. So
Good
just,
answer.
yeah. So just freedom.
Freedom.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you took some steps now, like we talked about in the beginning. You got with Andy now. I guess where's the changes right now? What's the implementation?
So we have like phone calls and Zooms 3 times a week minimum. We started this in February. It's like a 6-month-long program. And he's really holding me accountable. He has us send over our weekly calendar so he can see exactly how many appointments we have, what our schedule is like. Are we actually utilizing our mornings to do lead generation? And then he also has an accountability chart where we make our goals, and he checks the goals to make sure that we're actually hitting them. So, for example, I have a goal of doing 2 open houses a month.
Okay.
I did not hit that goal, but it wasn't because of anything I did. It was because the open houses got canceled at the last minute. But he also checks, okay, have you added this many people to your database? How many listing appointments or buyer consultations have you had? Have you reached your weekly goals? And we do that every single week. And he will call me out if I don't hit those goals. But it's been amazing because, like I said, I came in here with no pipeline. I felt like I was an agent who had the experience but had nothing going on. So it felt almost like I was a brand new agent, just trying to learn from everybody and everything. So when I joined his team, his coaching program, he's made sure that he can help me in any way possible. I have a pipeline now. He has passed me a couple leads to work on, and he just really makes sure that I'm being held accountable at all times.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next weekend, you can have an open house.
Yeah,
Got a nice new listing.
good. I'll take it.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'm very quick to go on the group, like, who needs an open house? Who needs an open house? But the past couple ones have had to get canceled because they were either under contract
Right.
or the
Yep.
sellers were being fussy or whatever. So that was the only reason why I didn't hit this month's goal for that. But I typically do try to do 2 a month.
Gotcha. And so now the way now that you see things coming to fruition, I would say like it's starting to snowball. You're starting to get a pipeline. 5 years from now, like what is that looking like for you? Like I know you're saying you want that liberty.
So I thought about possibly starting a team, but that would be way down the road. And a lot of that's because I just want to work on myself, making sure that I'm actually consistently having business. I'm not backsliding or anything like that. I feel like that might be a happy medium for me because I do like mentoring the agents. I had a really great time helping Emmy with her mock buyer activity, and that made me miss helping the agents more. I wouldn't do like a mega team or anything like that. Maybe just a very small 2-3 people, maybe 4. But I would possibly consider doing a team. 5 years from now, after I've worked on myself first.
You know, based on that email interaction that we had, I can tell you would run a team very well.
Yeah,
So-
I love mentoring the agents.
Yeah.
I keep telling them I'll fill out the paperwork and do the mentorship thing, but I just wanted a little more time to work on myself first.
Let me paint the picture really quick. So I was going back and forth with a newer agent on a listing that I had, and I like to be real life. It's not easy out there. It's not going to be like, yes, we'll accept your listing, or yes, your offer is amazing. Like it's not like that in real life. So I just said, nope, we're on the contract. Thanks. How often do we get that? Most of the time, a lot, right? Just short and sweet, for lack of better words. I did that to them. And then a day or so later, I get an email from a lovely lady, now that I know it's you. Like, hey, I understand that you're busy, but we need to train. And she told me she put me in my place. And I was like, damn right. I like that. I like you, Jasmine. To keep engaging, right? So to keep it going so they can at least have the reps. I get it. I was more so doing it like real life. Like this, but it was true. We were under contract and everything. But in this scenario, it makes sense. And I love that you're doing that because essentially you're training the agents to go through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's every time they get into that situation, it's like riding a bike. They'll know what to do.
Yeah.
So now that taught me what not to do moving forward, because
Yeah.
I want to help too, right? In that regard, I enjoy them coming to utilize the listings and go through the whole process. So,
Yeah, and you weren't the only agent to actually say, "Hey, no, we already got an offer accepted."
Okay,
So,
all right.
Yeah, there was another agent I also had to reach out to let them know, because the agents on the buyer activity, they were freaking out, like, "What do we do now? We can't go. We have to continue. We have to go through the steps." I was like, "Just let me send an email real quick, and
Right.
it'll be fine."
But that's also real life training. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do now? We got to talk to this buyer. Damn it, they're going to be this their confidence is going to be shattered. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. That's real life, and we've all experienced that.
Yeah.
But to your point, round of applause for you for
Thank you.
for putting me in my place and making sure that the train keeps rolling.
So nobody warned you that this training was going to happen?
No, I knew it. I signed up for it. I talked to Emmy. I knew all of this.
Oh, okay.
But in this scenario,
It was just like under contract.
It was actually under contract, and I was like, and I think I wasn't that harsh, but I basically, it's under contract. Thanks, appreciate it. Good luck out there or whatever.
Yep.
And then she, reeled it back in, and the game went back on. So
Yeah, because they have to put that, it's a mock buyer activity on everything that
Yeah.
they do, whether it's the contract or the emails. Just that way, everyone knew that it's not real, but in their eyes, it needs to be real.
right. And that's with the lender. That's with everybody. And to be fair, I really love that program's going on, and the fact that you're jumping in and helping can only help even more.
Yeah, I didn't get the help the first time around when I first joined, but Emmy had mentioned that this was a much bigger group, which it was. I think there was 12 agents participating, and so myself and Christy Fairchild, we kind of just split the group 4 and 4
Oh, okay.
to make sure that everyone wasn't overwhelmed and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think you guys went to Noble also, right?
Yeah,
Your
the closing was yesterday, so they've
so that just
graduated.
happened.
Yeah,
I think they came here, right?
Mhm.
You guys
Yeah, they
were
had to come
right?
here at the last minute. Yeah.
Dope.
Oh, shit, I was over there. I was in Chesapeake. Missed that.
But it
So
happened.
are you guys going to be doing another one?
I'm sure we will. I don't know when the next one is, because they seem to be going like once a quarter. But I mean, so many new agents are coming in that I wouldn't be surprised if she had to start doing it more often.
Right.
It's Emmy's project,
Right.
Emmy's activity. I'm just like, hey, I don't mind helping at all. And we would meet like on Zoom on Thursday nights, go spend about 2 hours on Thursday nights just going over each step more in detail, and then just kind of letting the agents go. And then we would help them and mentor them as needed and stuff like that.
Got it. So now you've been married 7 years.
7 years, yes.
Any more children?
Absolutely not.
Smart woman.
So I'm not afraid to
Wow.
say that I have a 2.5-year-old son, and I'm not afraid to say that he was not planned. And
My third child's not playing.
yeah,
Like I think that's.
Oh no, we made sure that my husband went and got snipped. We're not having any
got
more.
it.
We're
You're
done.
like,
To be
done.
fair, none of mine were.
All of mine were, so.
Yeah, no, we were happy
You're
with
Latino,
just
bro.
having
That's
one
like-
child.
If you're Latino, it's automatic. We don't plan them.
No, at all. It just happens.
We are recording now, guys. So be
It's
careful.
all the truth. So,
That's just what it is. It's like I can't even look at my wife. She's good. Pregnant. Yeah, it's funny because I got a call today, a little earlier today. The school called me, and I was like, "Oh man, okay. Are they getting off early? You know, it's holiday weekend or whatever." And they're gonna give. They want to let me know that my daughter's gonna be getting an award at school on
Nice.
June 17th. Be there. It's a surprise. Don't tell her.
Oh,
Great news, right? My other kid's at ODS. He's doing great. And then I just like my third child is like, you're not gonna get any of this. He's the problem.
Revenge. That's your revenge
He's not,
child.
like I already know. Like,
That's
he's
what you
not
get. There's
getting
gonna be
anything.
one. That's hilarious.
But I guess one and done.
so we have my daughter who's 9. My
Okay.
son is 2.5.
All right.
Yeah, and after that we're done. We're not
Gotcha.
doing no more.
done.
Yes. When we bought our house in January of 2021. We bought our house as a family of 3. We found out a week before closing that I was pregnant. So
Oh.
yeah, we're done. We don't even have the room for another kid at this point.
So I'm interested to for you to reach out to Andy on your next call and kind of chat with him about taking on a mentee, because there's a reason that you got your broker's license. And after going through that endeavor, like it seems to me that you still want to be able to mentor and teach and coach and create that culture for people. But maybe just not at such a large level,
Yeah.
you know? So you have the skill set and you have the knowledge to be able to do so. And if you're going to eventually, in however many years move forward with a team, I would recommend you talk to him about what that looks like and what steps to put in place to start to just teach somebody if they're brand new and just side by side, because that's also going to hold yourself accountable. If you're teaching somebody how to do an open house, you have to be really good at how to do an open house. If you're teaching them how to write a contract, you have to be really good at how to write a contract. And I think that you would really benefit yourself on that type of teaching, as well as whoever has the ability and the blessing of your tutelage.
Toodaloo, my
Yeah.
wrong movie.
So I would challenge you to chat with Andy about that next time around for sure, because I think that's going to benefit your career as well as somebody else's, and that'll help you reach that peak life you're looking for.
But piggybacking on what you just said, why did you get your broker's license? What was your why?
I was going to ask that too, and I was like, well, maybe.
At that time when I first got licensed, that was actually part of my 5-year goal. I wanted to be a managing broker. I wanted to run an office. And I hit that goal way too early, I think, in my career. I feel like I actually probably should have held off a little longer. But, I mean, I got it now. I can't get rid of it. So might as well use it for good now.
Yes, you can, technically, right? If you let it expire or something, I would assume.
I don't know.
But all that hard work, that's like saying, I got my PhD, I'm good, I'm going to let that
That's
expire.
it,
Nah.
Your PhD never expires, bro.
I mean, if you do something wrong, they'll make it expire for you. But it's depending on what you're practicing.
Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, you had a reason, you hit it. I mean, you can never say that, oh, damn, I hit my 5-year goal in a year. Gee golly whiz. You did it, but the more so you just executed it in a way probably faster than you wanted to.
Yeah.
And now in this scenario, you've kind of been set up to slam dunk the way that the vision that I think you've painted 5 years ago when you got this or whenever you got that.
Yeah.
So what's the end of the year look like for you? Like by the end of the year, you want to do what?
So I wanted to help 15 families. And if everyone in my pipeline would actually, do something, I would have hit that goal with ease. But when I had first started here, I told Mike I only needed to sell 7 homes in order to match what I had in my old salary. So I'll be fine if I hit 7 homes, whether it's listing or buyer side. And like I said, I have people that they're just waiting at this point, but they're going to do something. They have timelines. They have to do something. So I think I could hit that goal. But when I first started, I was easily, my first year, and that's just doing new construction, I had like 14 homes I sold. And I've consistently hit about anywhere from 12 to 15 homes per year up until I got the broker's license.
Okay.
So I feel like, I just need a little bit of time to, get my foot on the ground and everything like that. But I could easily get back up to that.
Yeah, it's 1.1 a month. If you think about it that way.
Yeah.
But you're actively seeking business.
That's kind of,
Yeah.
There's a difference also.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Don't stop.
Yeah.
No, don't stop.
Don't get discouraged.
Never.
I try not to. I mean,
It's ups and downs, man.
Yeah, and that's what
I've
it
had
is.
such great months, and then months where I'm like, what happened?
And I've talked to other agents, other top producing agents, and they're like, it's not just me. Even Andy has said it's not, me. I've looked at his whiteboard. I've seen his possible deals and everything like that. So to know that it's, it's like you said, it's ups and downs, and it's a down right now for me, but it's going to go up eventually.
Right.
So I'm just trying to be patient. And
That's the only difference. It's just the consistency, the knack of just not quitting, right? Like, you just don't stop. There is down moments. You can bash yourself. Like, even when the beginning of the year, end of last year, whatever, I was like, this is going to be slow, but, like, I know what I could do. It's just keep working. Like, there is honestly nothing to it.
yeah.
What is it? The easiest, hardest job is what I like to say. Like, people like to think you're going to get licensed and you're going to get a ton of money and you're going to get clients and everybody loves you.
Yep.
It just doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Right? You are well known out here as far as you've already been established in a different arena.
Right.
But how many, when you got licensed, were people just flocking to come
Hell
because
no.
they knew you?
It was. I mean, the know, like, and trust factor helped because hey, I think I know you from somewhere. That's helpful, but it doesn't mean they're willing to drop $300,000, $400,000 because they trusted that part.
Yeah.
No, I still had to know what the hell I was doing. That's just really what it was. I mean, it doesn't. But to you keep saying don't stop, and you said that like 3-4 times in a row. you segue from Journey, Don't Stop Believing, because the believing is going to
There
get you
goes the
there,
DJ
right?
reference.
And then once you're,
It's been a while since I heard one. Go
Once
ahead.
you're believing, and then you
Yeah.
transition to Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, because now you're killing it, right?
Yeah.
And then while you're just enjoying it and just living life, there you go to Rihanna, Please Don't Stop the Music, Please Don't Stop Selling. That's what really
Yeah.
it is, because now you've gone from the believing to not enough to I'm just going to roll and keep going.
Yeah.
That's the track that you're on, girl.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Don't you guys have a question you wanted to ask? You had something. I remember you guys were masterminding, and it's like, oh, we got to ask that for the next.
The
podcast.
transition questions.
Yeah, it's the transition question. So, what would you ask the next guest that comes on? And then so think about that one while you also get to ask us basically anything that you want
Yeah.
from any of us. I mean, we've got
Anything.
a little bit of time. Just we're an open book
I
as
got a
well.
question for the both of you.
All right.
What made you want to start the Norfolk branch?
Go first.
What made me?
Yeah. Like, what motivated you to?
It was the logical next step for me, but it was the opportunity more than anything. So I'd heard whispers of, hey, we're thinking about open Norfolk or another, franchise or X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that'd be cool. Like, I wonder what that looks like. So I talked to the guys a little bit, and they're like, well, there's lots of ups and downs. You got to get your license and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I like learning. So I was like, all right, I'm interested in this. And, so, some of the challenges that I have is I'm not Julian, right? I'm not out in,
Absolutely not.
yeah, absolutely not. But
You're the
I'm
white
not
guy,
out
so
in, I'm in the field, right? But I'm not out in the public eye, kind of like he is and whatnot. So, but what I am Iron Valley.
Right.
Right. So if they're going to transition from the four core brokers, right, the guys to a new endeavor, who better to do that as somebody that was born and raised in a real estate career, right, through Iron Valley and understands that culture? Who are they going to trust with their baby on another, another endeavor? And then, I think it was June's idea to really kind of bring him on because it was like a yin and yang sort of thing where he's got the outside, just appeal of everything for recruiting or kind of whatever's going on. But also, I mean, he's no slouch, right? I mean, solo,
I'm garbage,
gold,
dog.
diamond, like he's got more awards than I know
You
what to
were,
do
like,
with.
top EXP person, right?
I was one of them. I would definitely, and I don't like to say I was the top of anything, but I mean, in my old office, I was number one almost all the time. But from an EXP perspective, I think consistently top 10 out of hundreds.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, the brokerage is like going back to my old job. Being the general manager of an $8 million restaurant was, where I was before real estate. So now I'm basically doing the same thing with independent contractors as opposed to employees, So I'm in charge of obviously all the systems, all the training, the culture, the whole nine. So it just, again, it was just like, it felt like the logical next step for me. And we'll see where it takes us. So
Piggybacking on what he said, since this question was for both of us, it's essentially the same concept. And I said an analogy earlier in training. When you're a DJ, you have three angles to really go up, whether it's being a producer, owning a venue, or booking the venues for like artists and everything like that. And in real estate, there's a ton of other verticals. But at my first my goals were literally in 3 years, I want to be rookie of the year in gold, did it. Next year, I want to hit platinum, did it. Last year, I hit diamond, did it. That was literally my goals and do it. And I was like, if I can do it in this order, I'm going to stay in real estate for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I'm blessed enough to say that I did. And a lot of help along the way with the people. It wasn't just a me thing. I mean, I might get a lot of the accolades and the recognitions, but dude, I can't do none of this by myself. Family, team members, friends. I mean, it's the whole gambit of what we all have to deal with. We can't do this dolo, especially the clients for trusting us, number one. But now, what was the next step? And I was talking to June. I was talking to all the guys randomly throughout the process of potentially coming to Iron Valley, but I didn't want to make a lateral move. To be fair, I don't care where the guys were; they could have been anywhere, and it was the guys that was the most attractive. Pause. No Diddy. That was the most attractive concept to come over because of the work ethic that they've put in place. They could have chosen any brokerage. They could have started one of their own. They still would be here. You see what I'm saying? Right. So the statement of show me your five friends, I'll show you your future is very valid. And being around the energy is contagious. So in theory, if you're not going to excel around people that are doing either just as good or better than you, then it's a you thing.
Right.
So I know it wasn't a me thing. It's just let me switch, get into a different room, and let's see what goes from here. So doing that, to be fair, I think it was a really, really smart idea for the guys to create this yin and yang concept, because him and I never worked together in this capacity prior to this. But now I can see why it's going to make more sense. He's an office guy. He can do field. He can get in video. He can present. He can teach. He can do all of that. I can too, but he's better at certain things than I am, and vice versa. I can see where that good middle ground will marry. So the next logical step for me is that I wanted to own and run a brokerage and or a team and or something. So the opportunity presented itself. Took a few months to come to fruition because it was just a lot to think about, right? But I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. One of the statements they say, start with the end in mind and then work backwards. I can already see the end in mind. I can already see where it's at. And also, to be fair, again, I got to give credit where credit's due. The guys have really painted a great picture. So if you can't follow this maze because it's not too crazy, then something's wrong with you. The maze the path is there. Now we just work backwards. So that was a long answer to your question, but hopefully that explains the why, because in a less than a week and a half, in a week, the office access is now there. Now it's game on. This is really like the preseason. Then the season really is almost, it's like 2 more games in the preseason, then it's game on. It's a never ending season.
They signed it and sent it back already?
No.
Okay.
We signed it. We're just waiting.
Commercial, it takes like 6 weeks.
We're
I
just
don't know
literally
what's going
waiting
on.
for them to come back.
They
And they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's a holiday
Takes
weekend."
forever,
We're moving forward. It's
Yeah.
not happening. So yes,
True.
But no, it works out for you guys too, because I would have never known that you guys never worked like together before. Just seeing you guys
Oh,
like in
that's
the
good to
training
hear
and
from
stuff like
somebody.
that.
that is good. That's good feedback.
Yeah, we literally met.
It was awkward the first time they met. It was like at a
2
passing.
months
You were
I would have
coming
never
through the
known.
podcast.
I was. Yeah.
I would have
That was
never
the
known
first
that at
time.
all. Like you can tell it's gonna work for you guys.
I even
good.
forgot to kind of introduce you guys. I was like, oh yeah, that's LJ.
Like, oh, what's up, dude? Yeah, I'm fucking on. Yeah.
That was the first time I
No
did.
idea who
We
he
physically
was.
saw each other. I was like, oh yeah, that's LJ.
And they're probably in the back of their mind like, fuck, we didn't introduce him. And the plan's not going to work. Jesus. No, I think I can go with the flow. I like it. And so can he. We just have our two different ways we deliver it.
Right.
But the message is always going to be a damn good message.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to you trying to get out of your comfort zone, I've seen LJ with all his video content, and it's gotten better and better and better.
His content is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. From you just sitting
It's
there.
easy.
For the
Yeah, I've been
It's just
watching your stuff
Do
too.
it 1,000 times. I mean, you do everything 1,000. There's
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is, but it's like if you literally spend
10,000 hours.
Yeah, it's like if you spend 15 minutes a day, every day doing something, and by the end of the year, you've spent enough time to be better than 99% of everybody else that's doing it.
Right.
That's true.
Like, it's what? You've literally become a professional at that, and that's where we get such a challenge where it's we don't have the discipline, we don't have the consistency, we don't have whatever it is, and that's a concept that has been lost in a lot of the translation other than the upper echelon of successful people, because we just don't consistently do the same thing the same way properly because we don't see that instant gratification. That's the world that we're in. If I want to go look up something, the actor that was in this series back, whatever it is, I just Google it. We used to have to sit there and go, all right, well, it was the person that was related to this, and then you were talking and doing all that. So you actually had to
Let me go to
use
the
your
library.
brain.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
My library was the cards.
who
Remember?
has a library card?
We gotta do it's
Dewey
a-
Decimal
on a
System.
typewriter and everything.
Where is the
but-
library?
Right. On my phone. I'm going to pull it out. digital now.
Exactly. So remember the Encyclopedia Britannica?
Listen,
I never sold those.
Listen, we had a motorcycle. This is late 90s. One of my friends got in a motorcycle accident. We were in the truck. It wasn't bad, okay?
Okay.
Let me just start off with that. But we had the truck for a reason. So in case any of that happened, get them off the side of the road. We got to get them to the hospital. Pre-cell phones. Where's the hospital? Nobody knows because we're on these back roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
MapQuest, bro.
Now it's before MapQuest.
We got to just find the nearest
Yeah.
convenience store to find
Ask
a
the
Get
payphone.
an
directions.
actual map.
We got to find a payphone, and then we're asking people over there. But that was what we used to live in. It was like,
You got to go left, and you see the Burger King, go right, but veer to the second left fork in the road, and don't forget and
yeah.
then-
By the time we got them there,
screwed.
all the
So probably didn't bleed out. Jesus.
road rash was dry.
Oh,
But you got them there.
Another thing too, you said in the beginning that Andy was making you do this because he knew you were uncomfortable, right? So you in business, I don't care where you're at, I don't care what industry it is, you can be in something for a long time and you get to one word that I hate to say out loud, getting complacent, right? AKA comfortable, right? So being comfortable, being uncomfortable is literally the motto that's always in the back of my mind. And there can be a time where I feel I'm getting comfortable at something and like I know I got to pivot because I still want to do things. I still want to grow. I don't need to grow, but I have that want there. Right. There's a reason why people get to the next levels. They've already hit their goal and they're killing it. And if you think about it, they can coast, but they still have the want. They still have the drive. Right. And that right there goes to show really where you want to go. Really, how much do you want it? You still have that. Yeah. I can read it all over your face. You're doing something you don't want to do right now. Yeah. But you're doing good at it, to be fair. And you want to continue to do what your original goal was, to help people, to grow people. Why you got your broker license in some way, shape, or form. You're not just doing it at a better place. Yes, I said it, people. I don't care what y'all say. All right.
The development and growth for anybody is really broken down into 3 zones. And if you think about it as like the target, all right, and the middle is your comfort zone. Okay. That's where you can do whatever you want. You're really good at whatever that is. Okay. The next zone that's there is called the learning zone. And that's where we want to live. We want to branch out and do podcasts. We want to make those cold calls, but maybe we do scripts back and forth with somebody that we know for a while before we actually go into what's called the fear zone. Yeah. Right. Where if you get into the fear zone, you stay in the fear zone for too long, that's where it kind of cripples you and you never want to do that sort of thing again. But if you stay in a learning zone, now all of a sudden your comfort zone becomes bigger, and then your learning zone becomes bigger, and and you kind of engulf that fear zone. So whenever you're trying to grow, like understand what you're really good at, and then incrementally just make that learning zone a little bit bigger. So this is a perfect example of that, because the next time that you do a podcast, whenever that is, or next time you get in front of a microphone, you're going to realize what you're doing, what you're not doing. My first podcast in this room, I said right and like 500 times. And now I make it a point not to say it.
Damn it, I say it all the time.
Yeah, but I listened to my own podcast and I was like, wow, I really say that a lot. I have to do that a lot better. So now I make it a point when I'm in these not to say it as much.
What do the kids say? If you know, you know. Now you know. But Biggie said it better. If you don't know, now you know.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jasmine, what's the question you want us to ask for the next one?
I guess I'll keep it simple. Like, what has been the biggest challenge, whether you've just started in real estate or you've been in real estate for, got all these years of experience? What has been the biggest challenge that you've faced in your career so far?
Okay. Yeah, works for me. I mean, I can.
So do we want to keep that stay tuned for the next guest to answer? Because we know that we can answer this for another 30 minutes.
Probably could.
But I think the segue from that should be one of the first questions that the next guest asks, and we'll keep this trend going. Say your question one more time.
What has been the biggest challenge in your real estate career, whether you've just started or have years of experience?
Boom. I like it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Please subscribe.
Like,
link below. Like,
follow.
all of that. Thank you, Jasmine, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.